Matthew is known by reading his works that he distorts history, he invents prophecies, and he actually fabricates and embellishes the reality that he's describing, which is present.
Sure.
So let me, I give you one
according to what
example.
you believe, sure.
Not what I believe.
Please, carry on.
So I give you an example of contemporaneous account that he gave at his time about the zombies, dead saints, which you expect every other people, his chroniclers who are pagan, who are Jews, they should have reported it. No one reports it, not even any other gospel writer. There are many gospel writers. How many gospels were written?
4.
Absolutely false. You don't know anything about your history.
Four gospels that are from that time.
I didn't ask you that.
Okay.
I said how many gospels were written.
False gospels included,
Those gospels were
many.
Only 4 from the start. Okay. So there are many.
Mansoor is a very nice guy, though.
Anyway,
I want to be soft.
Okay.
I want to say.
We're having a pleasant
I'm
conversation.
just
We're having a pleasant
he's a really
conversation.
nice guy.
I want to hit with the
He's a really
truth.
nice guy. Yeah.
Right. For example,
Do it nicely. See it softly.
how he distorts history. Right.
Right.
Let me give you an example. Distorting history. In history, we knew, for example, who was the son of Ahaziah, Manasseh. When we go in Matthew, very first chapter, he talks about how Jesus is the son of David, and he gives you a genealogy. My question is not about the genealogy in terms of how can you have a genealogy when a man doesn't have a father. It's not that. The people he makes in this genealogy, he actually makes a claim. From Abraham to David, from them to the exile to Babylon, and from there to Joseph, he says these are 14 generations, and 14. All of the generations are 14, 14, 14. There's 3 lots of 14 is 42. He doesn't say some of the generations, he says all of the generations. Are you familiar with that? Right. But that's absolutely false, historically. Because he's talking about historical people. So when you go to 1 Chronicles chapter 3, for example, and we look at and compare Matthew's accounts of those people, we see clearly he's tampering the history. He's taking away some people. And you'd say, oh, maybe he's taking away to make something like 14 an equal number. Because there's some kind of symbolic thing maybe he's trying to do.
Yeah.
But where he gets caught is when we find out who takes them away. One of the key figures he takes away, doesn't mention it, it's called Jehoiakim, M at the end, right? Jehoiakim was the son of Josiah and the father of Jeconiah and the brothers.
Okay.
So Josiah, Jehoiakim, and Jeconiah, right? Josiah, Jehoiakim, Jeconiah, grandfather, father, son.
Right.
He takes the middle person away, and he makes Jeconiah, who are the grandchildren, the son of Josiah, who's the grandfather. You'd think, okay, he's shortening it. But the reason he takes it away is because Jehoiakim, in the Old Testament, is cursed by God with a specific curse. That Jehoiakim himself and anyone that comes from him, his descendants, none of them will sit on the throne of David. And what is Matthew trying to do? Make Jesus the son of David. So if now Jesus comes through this line of Jehoiakim, he cannot claim the throne of David. So he takes him away. So this is what we're saying, a deliberate, intentional distortion and manipulation of history to make a theological point. So that's one example. My other point...
Can I respond? Okay, so I want to respond to your point about the people rising, right? Can I tell you the story of my dad? He got a burglary in his house. Back in the day, when my dad was at uni, he had a burglary in his house. This is how my dad tells the story. I went to bed one night, I woke up the next day, police officers in my house. That's his story. Was he lying? No, that's the story he saw, right? This is the story his housemate saw. His housemate saw the car alarm go off outside, ran down the stairs, beat up 2 guys, brought them back in the house, sat on top of them for like 2 hours while the police arrived, took police witness statements, and then they left. Whose story was right? Both of them are right. They've just seen different things. Just because Matthew saw one thing and someone else saw something else doesn't mean it's false.
Misunderstood totally entirely.
Doesn't mean it's false. But what you have said in your own point in your own point, you said that the testimony of one man, if it cannot be attested to by other
you're
people,
selectively
it is
hearing.
false.
So let me correct you again.
No.
You have a selective
What you're
hearing
saying
problem.
is the testimony of one man, if it cannot be
No.
attested to by
How
other
many times
people,
am I denying what you just said?
if it cannot be
So-
attested to by other people, it is false.
May I
In
correct
other
you
words,
again?
the words of Muhammad are false.
May I correct you
What you're
again?
saying.
May I correct him? May I correct him? You are selectively hearing what I'm saying. I am saying I am not focusing on one-man testimony.
Right.
I am not focusing on the variability of individual attestations.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on the event itself of that magnitude.
Yeah.
If a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a dinosaur,
Yeah.
came up from the ground,
Yeah.
let's substitute human being dead zombies to a dinosaur. And that went by eating half of you and then went there. And the only person that reported this event to the Daily Telegraph or whatever newspaper you read, right? From me. No one else reported it. Now, people of intellect and reason, let me finish.
Wait, no, don't finish this
Can I
because
finish?
this is intellectually dishonest.
Because
we're not talking about the Daily Telegraph. They didn't exist at the time. The Daily Mail didn't exist at the time.
talking about
These
two
cameras
scenarios.
didn't exist at the time. So
Can I
let's
just
go
say
back
one-
to the
I
history.
think he has a complete
Let's go back
No,
to
no.
history.
Can I just say one thing? Look, the point that Brother Mansoor made was a multifaceted point. One facet was about the people rising.
Yeah,
There was another major facet of where a genealogy
yeah.
was deliberately changed.
Please be finished.
Deliberately changed, okay, in order for there not to be an embarrassment whereby a prophecy that was made that this person will not be on the throne of David or whatever.
No, it would not make him
Make
to
him-
claim Jesus to be
Right.
descendant sitting on the
Of
throne
David, right?
Sure.
Now
Yeah.
the point, what that establishes, my brother, is this, okay? Without specifically just dealing with one facet, what it shows is that this individual and his claims are no longer trustable. Okay? Because if you said your father woke up and he said, I recall that
What's so extraordinary in that?
I woke up in the garden.
What's extraordinary in this example compared to my
understand.
example?
No, but
missed
you
the
can get
point.
two different witness
The
statements. You
point
can
is-
get two
That's what
statements.
The point is, if your father said, "Oh,
You're
I
speaking
woke up,
English.
I woke up, and I was in my neighbour's garden,"
Yeah.
right? And then you look at the cameras, and he said, "But Dad, you never went into the neighbour's garden."
I'm sorry to say,
So-
but my example is not that at all. My example is the event and its magnitude
I
of
understand.
extraordinarity,
I
right?
fully appreciate it.
Extraordinary. For example,
Yeah. Like
if
if
you
an
said-
angel
if
appeared
you-
to someone,
no,
that would be
if
quite
you said-
extraordinary, right?
If you said your dad woke up and he found himself to be a tomato,
Right.
and he walked with like a tomato legs, and people saw it and they poked. Oh, that's a real tomato. Then that would be extraordinary.
Making me hungry now.
That's extraordinary. That's what I'm talking about. A dinosaur coming up from the ground, and only one people reporting it, and no one else is reporting. People would not take the one people report. It's not about one people report. It's about the event that is
And
expected
also
to be
the
narrated.
and also the fabrications
Right?
he's made.
So Matthew, I've given you two examples. Let me give you another example. Matthew invents prophecies. He says, "Oh, as was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene." The scholars of Christianity, for the last 2,000 years, have been struggling till today at this time, on Sunday, to find a prophecy, and they could not find one because it doesn't exist. Matthew just invented it. There is no prophecy by any of the Old Testament prophets in which they said that there will be someone called the Nazarene. As was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. Nazarene is either going to be a place called Nazareth, and you make an attribution that is called a Nazarene. No such prophecies exist. So this is how he invents prophecies, distort histories, contemporaneously. He makes up things. That's why he has no integrity.
You see
He
how
cannot be trusted.
You see how we don't believe it's the word of God because of these reasons. Because there's evidence to show that if there's corruption, there's manipulation, there's change, there's addition, then
Yeah.
that can't be from God, brother. That's the point. And also, if that person then claims other things, we would have to question their honesty and their integrity.
Do you want more? There's more to Matthew.
No, don't go any further, right? But because I want to keep it simple for the viewers as well, that what we're talking about is, and in the Bible itself, and not that I'm claiming that it's true, they all forsook him and fled. So at the time of crucifixion, nobody was with him. They all forsook him and fled.
John was at the cross.
They heard that he'd been crucified.
John was at the cross. It says in the Bible, John was at the cross.
They're scared because they heard that he was crucified. Now, this is very interesting because the Quran also says it appeared to them so.
Yeah.
That they thought that, for whatever reason, whether it was rumors, whatever might have happened.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, they are going to report what they thought, rumors, or what they heard. You see my point? But for us, it's a very, very simple thing, my brother. We believe that he was a prophet of God.
Yeah.
We believe that he was one of the mightiest messengers of God.
Yeah.
We believe that all of the prophets are from God. But all I want you to think about...
I just want to understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
So you're saying that none of the disciples were at the cross, and then they heard rumors about Jesus was on the cross sort of thing?
What I'm saying to you is Christian academics...
Yeah.
Pretty much unanimously, unless they're an evangelical scholar who tries to imply that no, we have somehow the words of God or whatever. But the vast majority, overwhelming majority, agree that we don't have the words of Jesus. This biography that was written afterwards, as I explained to you, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, the letters of Paul, etc., was not what Jesus was preaching in the streets of Galilee. He was preaching the gospel, the good news.
Yeah.
Right?
And what is the good news?
Well, the revelation, Injil, that was given to
the
him
good
by
news
God
that we
Almighty.
can go to heaven because of his death.
Look, that's a theological claim. That's a theological claim. I'm saying that what he preached, presumably in Aramaic...
Did he preach he was God?
Right?
To his disciples?
No, we don't believe that, obviously.
Yeah?
He did.
So can I just give one example? Imagine I'm Judas, and I've heard you claim to be God. Now, would I have the audacity to betray you? Because I might turn into a banana by your pick of your fingers, because you're God. But you have people like that, Judas betraying him, right?
But
so can I ask you a question?
We still have people like that today who
One
know
second.
God,
1 second.
who know God and still reject him.
Wait.
That's not a great argument.
If God came in front of you and said, I am God, and you'd have the audacity to deny him?
I wouldn't know.
Anyone else?
I think people do, because people know about the truth of God.
Never. If it was absolutely clear to them it's God...
How many atheists do you know that have heard the truth about God and still have rejected him?
Let me make my point. If I brought, right, a weapon which you know that's going to fry you, and I am all ready, right? Are you going to say, I deny you that you have a weapon? Imagine I said, look, if you say that I have no weapon, I'm going to fry you. Would you say that?
Don't worry, I'm not going to tell him to pull the trigger. I'll stop him, okay?
You would not be a joker, a comedian at that point. You would say, my life at stake. I know this person is going to fry me with this weapon. Likewise, if God was walking... If God was
walking... He likes our company so much, he doesn't want your company anymore.
If God was walking in your belief on earth...
We have moved on from the fact that Muhammad was a one-man witness. We've moved on. It was tough.
He was God,
it was short-lived.
What's going to happen is no one would have the audacity to deny him and reject him.
He keeps talking a lot.
Make your last points. We want to be fair. Make your last points, your closing statements.
Sure.
And we'll close as well. But it was nice to speak to you.
It's been lovely speaking with you.
It was very nice to speak to you.
Thank you for telling me about how Muhammad had all...
He's making his closing statement.
Closing statement. Thank you for admitting that Muhammad was a one-man witness and you don't believe in one-man witnesses.
He never said that.
I do appreciate the chat.
No, we had such a nice discussion.
We've had a lovely discussion. We've had a lovely discussion.
No, we had such a nice discussion.
That is what you said.
Why do you want to...
You said listening to one man...
Can I come on this ear, maybe I can tell you again.
I'm good.
Selective hearing.
No, wind up for the camera.
I heard you say it as well.
Wind up for the camera.
I heard you say it as well.
No, my closing thing just to finish is I was talking to them about witness statements and how we have like multiple witnesses for the Gospels. We have Matthew, we have Mark, we have Luke, we have John, we have Peter, we have Paul's accounts of what he experienced, and we were talking about that, and he started talking about Matthew's one account of multitudes raising from the dead. And he said that definitively proves we can't listen to Matthew's account just because one man said something different from everyone else. and I raised the point of, well, didn't Muhammad only make the point, he's just one man, all he said was based on what one man said, and you refused to comment on it, try to move